I'm Valentina Kristensen, Corporate Affairs Director at OakNorth. I think CP 1025 really represented an escalation rather than sort of an ESG tick box. The PRA now wants to see firms, embedding this within their climate risk, within their board accountability, and I think those are where the big challenges are going to be. They need to embed climate stress testing into their existing processes, and they need to try to address data gaps while maintaining some credible assessments. I think at OakNorth we're in a very fortunate position because this is something we've been doing since early 2020. We've been mapping climate risk within our loan book, both physical and transition risk, down to their loan level. But I do appreciate that for many firms this is going to be a real step change for them. I would say probably the biggest data gaps fall under two areas. One is getting the granular data. Most banks tend to look at risk from a sectoral level. So they split the economy into a dozen or so sectors. So every hotel, restaurant, spa, golf club falls under hospitality and leisure. And as we know, those businesses are incredibly different. So getting an understanding of the risk at a granular loan level, that's something that's going to be a real challenge for many businesses. Most banks are used to looking at risk maximum 9 quarters out, not decades out, which is obviously what we're talking about when it comes to climate. We're very fortunate to be able to have a very granular picture of our businesses. So we've split the economy into about 274 different subsectors. So we go down to the individual loan level. And what that means is that for every business, every SME that we work with, we're able to say, okay, where may the opportunities be, even if the business themselves hasn't considered it. Part of it is getting the data from the SMEs, and that has been definitely a big challenge. We lend to businesses between $1 million to $100 million turnover, so there's a very different level of sophistication on that scale. Some have absolutely no idea what they're doing with regards to sustainability and have no one within the business who's looking at that. And then part of it is trying to look at what external data sources we can potentially use to help provide us or help to fill in some of those gaps. So I think the challenge with data sources such as EPCs, and don't get me wrong, we do use them, but they're very static, right? So they're not looking at, let's say, the occupancy within a particular building. They're not looking at the behavioral data, so you're not getting a real picture of the usage, which obviously means that then you're making a lot of assumptions, and the accuracy of the data is going to be limited. I think one of the interesting things is, and perhaps there has been a barrier historically, that banks have thought we have to create a new product in order to service these customers. I think actually it's, again, about if you're building climate confident teams, it's about saying how can we apply the existing offering and the existing products and think about how we can use those to support customers in the transition. You don't necessarily have to create new products, it's about new applications of existing products. So I actually see one of the biggest opportunities being in creating climate confident teams. It's sort of a carrot and stick approach, because you do have some businesses that are doing this as a result of changes to regulation, whether that's EPC or something else, but then you have other businesses that are seeing it as a real opportunity where they can potentially attract a different demographic of customers. But I also think then within the banks themselves, building climate confident teams who feel that they can actually talk to their customers about this and help them on their transition journeys and unlock new commercial opportunities as a result.